I want to shed some light on things that I wish I would have known before I got here to Belarus, before I even started making plans to do it. Moving to Belarus, it's more possible than you might think, okay? I came here with a support structure already. You may come here without a support structure. I came here with my wife's family as our home base. So we are maybe a little bit different. But I will say there are plenty of people here in Belarus, Westerners specifically, from the United States, Canada, Australia, you call it whatever, that came here with nothing, with absolute nothing. During the COVID pandemic, there were, countries all around the world were locked down, shut down. You couldn't do anything. Belarus never shut down. Belarus rocked on through the whole thing, like nothing happened, and nothing happened. There were a lot of people that lost their businesses and different things like that. They came here as just to get away from the madness, and they're here now still to this day. So it is definitely possible. Those people, they had to make their own network. They had to do their own problem solving and figure out how to make this all work. And some of the bravest people I've ever met are those people. However, it is most definitely possible. There's plenty of success stories out there, and you could be one here too. If you're thinking about moving to Belarus, before you come, there's a few things you need to do. First thing is you need to get yourself a criminal background check. State level is just fine. That means go to your local sheriff's office, ask them to do a police record check for you. By getting a PRC done at your local government office, you will make your life so much easier here. You will not get a temporary residency or a permanent residency without a clear criminal background check. If that tells you anything about how safe it is here, they don't allow anybody to come here with any kind of criminal record. So there's that. And the next thing you're going to need to have is what's called an apostille on every document that you have. You're going to need an apostille for all of your documents. Birth certificates, marriage certificates, police record checks, all of those things you will need an apostille on. Here in Belarus, once you get here, you're going to have to get it translated and notarized. And the government services here require an apostille. So it's required, just do it. Make your life very easy ahead of time, because once you're here trying to get your birth certificate with an apostille on it and getting here, good luck. If you bring a pet to Belarus, oh, what a process. And it's not Belarus that you have to worry about. You absolutely do not have to worry about it. With the current sanctions and the world situation right now, in June of 2023, you cannot, there are no direct flights into Belarus. The closest route to get here is to fly to Vilnius, Lithuania, and come here by bus or taxi, or have somebody that you know come pick you up. With that being said, flying an animal or bringing an animal into Belarus is challenging, to say the least. We brought our sweet dog here, and it was, wow. So the European standards are what they go by here in Belarus to allow a dog to enter the country. Our dog had to go to several different medical exams and get several different shots to put into her pet passport, medical passport. And this document had to be approved within 72 hours of the flight out of the United States to go to Europe by the USDA. And the USDA, it's up in Albany, New York. That's where we had to send it to. So imagine we get all these shots like a month and 2 weeks prior to coming here, and we had to go 3 days, 72 hours before our flight, and my wife timed it just exactly right. Like, say for example, the 2 o'clock flight, it was a 2 o'clock appointment, or actually 1 o'clock appointment, and they sent off the documents at 2 o'clock, exactly 72 hours. 2 days, 48 hours went by, and we still had not received the documents from the USDA. The morning we were driving to the airport was when we got them. It was so stressful. It was just crazy. But we did get what we needed. We put our dog onto a plane and we flew to Vilnius, Lithuania. There was a 2-hour layover in Frankfurt, and yeah, she did just fine. The cage that we sent her in, believe it or not, we paid the money for the expensive cage the most expensive cage we could get, like dummies, and we put her in there, and we tightened up all the bolts and all that kind of stuff before we left. And when we got her in Lithuania, she was just in the cage, like looking at us. I went to go pick the cage up and it exploded. When we opened up the cage and Charm jumped out, she was just elated with joy to be reunited with her peoples, and we felt the same way. There are plenty of companies here in Belarus that buy used vehicles, salvaged vehicles from the United States, and they bring them here, fix them up, and sell them at a fair value, fair price for here. The car that I bought had been in an accident in the United States, and you have to be careful on what kind of accidents that they were. If it was in a flood, stay away from it. That's my opinion. Okay, do whatever you want, but my opinion is any kind of vehicle or instrumentation, I would say, that has been exposed to submersion in water or moisture in general is probably going to give you some problems. I don't know anything. Anyways, be on the lookout and do your research and find out what the deal is. You could do a Carfax. Carfax works. I mean, it's like $25. It might save you a lot of pain. I would say if you can bring your own vehicle, bring it. There's a lot of Americans here that we knew before we came, and they all said, oh, if you could bring your own car, bring your own car because it's cheaper. And I didn't quite understand or listen. Okay, so maybe you can listen to me, and maybe not, but at least think about it. So if you want to bring your own car here to Belarus, the requirements are to have owned it for 2 years and have a clear title. And that is for the permanent residents, free transfer of a vehicle without paying taxes. And that is awesome. Everybody said, bring your car, put it in the container and all this and that. And nobody really explained it to me in layman's terms. So I'm going to try to break this down. Put it in storage. Store your car. Don't just, think you're going to get it right away, because you're not going to get your vehicle right away. It took me 3 months to get my residency here, and it could take longer. It just depends on how hard you want to press and quickly you want to go. But once you get your residency, you can get your shipment sent here. If you want to get a 40-foot shipping container and put a 15-foot, 20-foot car in there, knock yourself out, and then put the rest of your household goods in there. That's cool. That's another whole video. I actually have one. I actually did it myself, but I didn't send a car. Hindsight's 20/20. Should I have? Yeah, probably. My situation was a little bit different, so it wasn't a possibility. It is what it is. Preparing yourself for a move like this, it goes pretty deep, and I will say that. I personally tried my hardest and did everything I possibly could to get out of debt, to remove as much debt out of my life where my passive income was able to support me here for my day-to-day, my month-to-month. Being debt-free is definitely not an easy thing. I'm still not even 100% debt-free, but I'm a lot better than I was a couple years ago, for example. But definitely do the planning ahead of time. Don't just come here and try to figure things out, because coming here trying to figure things out, it's only gonna triple your problems, and you probably don't need that. But I'm definitely telling you this from the heart because I don't want you to be hesitant to come, but I want you to know everything up front as much as possible. And this is just my opinion, so whether you do it or not, that's completely on you. Once you get here, look me up. I'm sure I'm not too hard to find, so we'll talk then. One of the things that I knew about, but I didn't really consider to be such a major priority, is cash. Bring cash. If you have US dollars, bring lots of them. You can bring $10,000 cash across the border without declaring it, okay? If you bring more than $10,000, you have to declare it at customs. You have to have a way of proving where the money came from. So for example, pay stubs, taxes, or whatever you want to call it, what you got to prove that where the money came from. Bring cash. That's the bottom line. Bring cash, because cash is king. Getting money here is not the easiest thing, okay? Getting US dollars here into this country it's definitely a challenge. Now, the US dollar is still the standard. When we got here last year, 2.5 rubles equaled 1 US dollar. Now, that number has gone up. So the US dollar is actually stronger. It is 2.9 rubles for every 1 US dollar. So it's good to know, and you're going to need as much of those dollars as possible. One thing that you're going to need to consider and maybe come up with a plan for before you even get on an airplane is how you're gonna get into Belarus. All right, there's plenty of bus systems that you can get into, plenty of taxis, I'm sure, but it's just a matter of finding them. I'll try to drop a few links below that I can find that might be of help for you, but it's not as easy as just getting on a plane or a train and rolling on into Minsk. I really wish that was the case, but with all the sanctions, you do have to think outside the box and do a little extra special problem solving just to get here. But once you're here, it's beautiful. So the van that we rented to get us across the border and bring us into Belarus, they picked us up at the airport in Vilnius, brought us across the border. I got another video that I'll put a link here, what it's like going across the border. There's no videos or no photography at the actual border crossing, but you get the idea. You got to have all your stuff in line. And before you come here, obviously you need to go to the Belarus government websites and find out what the current visa entry requirements might be for your citizenship status. And go with that, because it could change tomorrow. Doesn't matter. I'm filming this video in June of 2023 right now. What I have is recent information, but it could be no good after tomorrow. Who knows? I hope this video was informative, and I hope this video helps somebody out. I wish when I moved here that there would have been a video like this for me to watch and to take some pointers on, and to click on the links in the description for some websites that might point me in the right direction. I am not a travel agent here. I'm just a average guy that chose to move to Belarus, and I just want to share some of my guidance and wisdom with you. And this is all my opinions and been my experiences. You can do whatever you want to do, but if you need help, click on the comments, write a comment. I'd be more than happy to assist you. Please like and subscribe, support the channel. Yeah, until the next video, we'll see you then.